Welcome, guys, to the Blues Academy online edition. It is raining outside. It is crazy, crazy wet. Oh my goodness. Just realized that now. So, still enough light coming into my flat to give you guys a decent quality video. So, hopefully I can nail this in the next 10, 15 minutes or so. So, obviously, because of what's going on, we're doing some online things to hopefully enrich you guys a bit from what you guys have been learning with us these past couple of terms and past couple of weeks if you've just joined us for this term. So my job today is to review some of the basics. I understand that if you find this a bit too rudimentary for you, click away, go over to Ewan's and Toby's videos. They're doing some cool stuff on improv and the tunes from last week and some soloing ideas. So if you're a horn player and want to check out some of that kind of stuff, you can focus more on that. And if you're a guitarist that kind of has a good grip of what harmony is, go over to those videos. These are the basics, the rudimentary kind of building blocks of what music is. I'm giving a bit of a theory lesson, but a very condensed crash course. So hopefully I'm going to hit all the markers and hopefully you guys will walk away understanding with what I have said about, you know, what a major chord is, what a minor chord is, how we hear the difference between the two. That's our first goal. Then hearing the context of that in a blues format, and then listening to that and being like, okay, I can hear the difference between a 1, a 4, and a 5, and I'll then start playing at a random point in the song, and you can tell me, oh yes, we're there, or we're at the end, or we're going over to the 4. So my goal is for the guitarists and the bassists that are struggling with the idea of harmony of what a 1-4-5 is, instead of like, oh, it's the first, the third, and the first, second, and third chord that I learned. It's the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, and then I can throw any chords at you and you can just play them. This is for the drummers as well that don't know what harmony is or can't hear harmony. So when I say, hey, we're going to the 5, they're like, what's the 5? I don't know what the 5 is. So this will hopefully give you some solid musical foundation for us to move forward. Ooh, pardon me. So let's get cracking. So when we talk about the key of something, or I'm sure you guys know when we say, okay, we're doing the blues in the key of E or in the key of C or whatever, that is the root. That is our tonal center. Now, I'll be throwing out some fancy words, but I will be highlighting what is important. If it's in the key of E or in the key of C, that means that usually our first chord is going to be that note, that chord in that scale as such. So, for example, if we're in the key of C, right, we have a scale that coincides with that key. Now, before we start talking about chords and progressions, let's first look at the degrees of a scale, okay? So we start with our root. So if this is our root, for your information, it's C, concert C. If we go up the scale, sorry about that, little mistake, that there is the C major scale, okay? So, da 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 da. Okay. This is what we're going to base our harmonic structure on, okay? And I'll show you that, guys, in a bit. But for now, understand this is a major scale. Okay, so if you've never sung a scale before, now is the time. Here we go. La 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 da 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 da. Back down, ba da 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 da. And now by yourselves. Back down. All right, cool. So that's the sound of a major scale. It's important to hear that in your head so that, you know, when we go up and down the degrees, you can sing it in your mind. So da, so I say go to the 3, ba da da 3, 3 2 1. If I say go to the 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 5 4 3 2 1. Go to the 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 6 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, so that's good to hear And then you can kind of start to gauge by yourself, well, which degree are we in the scale? All right. So, having that in mind, we're only dealing with majors for now, as far as the scales are concerned. But now we're going to talk about chords, okay? Now, there are two main types of chords that you guys need to understand. Chords are essentially groups of notes that build tensions and harmonies, okay, that will accompany the melody on top. So, for instance, if we have the key of C again, this is our root, so I'll play you one note. If I go to the third degree of the scale, 1, 2, 3, and play them together, and I'll play the fifth as well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and add that on top, I have a major chord. 1, 3, 5, 5, 3, 1. Okay. All together, it sounds like that. It's quite a nice chord. It's a very stable chord. So that's major. Okay. If I did the same starting with F, so if I go to the fourth degree of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we say that this is now the new root. Okay, and I add the third, and then the fifth. That's 4 major. Okay, if I do the same with the fifth degree, so 1, this is our root again, remember? So we've had that chord and that chord, okay? The 1 chord and the 4 chord. Now we're going over to the 5 chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that there is our 5 major chord. All these chords exist in our blues format that we'll be talking about today. Quick note before I continue. The difference between major and a minor, that's very important to understand, because sometimes you'll hear that chord, you'll be like, something's wrong, it's not sounding right. So, this is a major, okay? Our third, if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our third, if it's flattened by a semitone like that, that then makes it a minor. So, the 1 is the same, the 5 is the same, but the 3 goes down to minor. Okay. That chord there is our minor chord. And it's good to know the difference between the two. The characteristic, the emotional characteristic we can kind of attach to it is a sad sound. So sad. All right. Major, very happy, so sad. Okay. So that's a way to distinguish between the two. So let's practice some, all right? I'm going to throw some chords at you. Identify what they are. Major. Major again. Minor. This is the major of that chord. Back to minor, major, minor. Okay, one more. That is a minor. If I make it a major. Okay. So you can hear the difference between the two. Important. Cool. Now, 12-bar blues. I think you guys have a good understanding of, well, hopefully you guys have a good understanding of between major and minor. In this 12-bar blues that I'll be talking about today, we are just doing major. Okay, so don't worry about any minor chords that might slip in. Don't worry, it's all major for now. Cool. So, in music we have something called a beat. And that beat is usually consists of something like this. A clap or a foot stomp or a kick drum or a snare drum. That's a beat, okay? And what we need to understand that in this case, we have 4 beats in 1 bar. So this is 4/4 time for the guys who remember time signatures. So therefore we have 4 beats that equal to 1 bar. Okay, so if I do 1 bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 bar. 2 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3 bars, 4 bars, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's how we count bars. In a 12-bar blues, we have 12 bars, and it's important to understand that we put chords in certain bars that give us this blues format, this blues sound. It starts off with 4 bars of the 1, This is the most basic. So no quick fours, no nothing, no turnarounds. Simplest form of 12-bar blues. We're starting there, okay? We've got 4 bars of the 1 chord. So I'll throw in a 7th to make it sound a bit bluesy. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So 4 bars of the chord, 1. That there is our root. Now remember, we go to our 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Throw in a 7th there, make it sound a bit more bluesy. So then we have 2 bars of 4. Going back to 1. For 2 more bars. So let's play those first 8 bars all together. Starting with 4 bars of 1, 2 bars of 4, 2 bars of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and do you hear the difference between the 1 and the 4 chord? Very important. Now we go over to the last chord that we've learned, which is the 5. So 1. This is our root. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a major chord on top of that. That becomes our 5 chord. Okay? And that's happening for 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's happening for 1 bar. 1 bar, 2, 3, 4. The 5 chord of the 5 chord. Shifting down to the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down to the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 for 2 bars. Now sometimes there was a turnaround at the end, which I'm sure you guys have heard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go back to the 1 at the top. All right? That there's going down to the 5 at the end. All right, so in case you're wondering what's that turnaround chord, in that case there, it's the 5. Okay, so I'll play it from top to bottom. Follow along with me, and let's play it in the key of C. No, so I'll do it in key of C, and then we'll do it in key of E, so it's easier for the guitarist. All right, so key of C for now. Just listen first. Don't worry too much about playing along yet. Just listen first, okay? And hear when 1, 4, 5, 1 comes around. 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4 to the 4 chord. Back to the 1, 1 to the 5, to the 4, to the 1, and the top. 4, sorry, to the 1, 5, 4, to the 1. Okay, so that there is our 12-bar blues. It's important to know that if you get stuck or get lost, you need to know what this sounds like. So let's try sing it. Let's just sing the root. All right? So let's sing the roots only. 1, 2, 3, 4. La, 2, 3, 4. La, 1 to the 4 chord 4. Back to the 1. Up to the 5, to the 4, to the 1, to the top again. 1, 1, to the 4, to the 1, to the 5, to the 4, to the 1. Turn around. All right. And that was the 5 at the end, just for a bit of spice at the end. Cool. So That is a basic 12-bar blues format. I want you guys to think about that as we go through all the tunes and look, where's the 1, where's the 4? This is just major. We're only talking about major today. I'll talk about minor as we go along, but today is just major. I'll do it again now in E. Hear the difference and see if you can catch on. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Hopefully that gives you a sound of what it sounds like. So let me play at a random point in the 12 bar, and I want you to tell me where we are. Okay, so I'll give you the root. Okay, so that's our root. I want you to tell me which chord am I starting on, okay? So what was that? That was the 5, going to the 4, going to the 1. 5, to the 4, to the 1. Okay, so that's like a musical mark of like, oh, that's the end of the 12 bar. So we're going back to the 1. So if you've made a mistake or you don't know where we are, it's like, think, where's the top of the form again? Oh, it's coming up. Let me be ready for the top of the form, okay? So if I play this, for instance, this is your root, okay? Where are we now? Ah. So we started at the 4. Okay. Important to know. As long as you can keep hearing where we are, you will never get lost in the blues. I want this to become a sound that is so inside of you, where if I play you a one, that's the top. I want you guys to feel that. So much so that even if I play a turnaround, 1, you need to know immediately that's the 1. All right. So that's how all these blues legends, they all had that sound, that cycle of the 12 bar ingrained in them. They would never get lost. This is why so many of them, got together impromptu and, recorded albums and recorded records because it's like they knew what a blues was. There was nothing to rehearse. It was all about what are we going to pump out that day, with our solos, with our lyrical ideas. The 12 bar stays the same. It never changes. Sometimes there is a quick 4. Sometimes there's a turnaround. And that depends with everyone kind of understanding, okay, the turnaround's coming. And if someone doesn't play the turnaround, that's fine. Just keep playing, all right? Quick little turnaround, quick 4, just so that we can be, so we can remember where it is. If we start, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 1 bar of 1. The second bar has 4 beats of chord 4. All right, so 1 to the 4 to the 1 to the 4 to the 1 to the 5 to the 4 and turn. Okay, we will look at things like intros and endings as we go along through this little video series. Hopefully this gives you some idea hopefully it's solidified this idea of what a 1-4-5 is, what major chords are, what minor chords are, what is a 12-bar blues. If you are still stuck, please send me a message. Be like, Veed, I don't know what you meant by the 4 or the 5 or the root or the scale. I will cover all that with you guys. I want everyone to be up to speed. If this was pretty basic for you, good to have a refresher. But yeah, Ewan and Toby will be releasing a whole bunch of cool videos on soloing ideas, more stuff on the blues, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope this helps, and yeah, see you guys soon.